Hello guys! Hi, this is Thanh Hà from VOV 24/7 and we're doing lunch show with, as you can see here, our special guest, Miss World Vietnam 2007 Ngo Phuong Lan. And we are waiting to be on air, and so and we are also live streaming on the fan page of VOV5 English section, and I think I'm gonna share it to my timeline now.
Okay, can you tag me in it so that I have it?
Sure. How many seconds do we have?
We have 20 seconds.
Oh, my network isn't working. Okay, maybe we can leave it later.
Three, two, one, go.
Welcome back to VOV 27's lunch show with me, Thanh Hà. Our Happy Me segment is broadcast live on 104 FM and live streamed on the fan page of VOV5 English section. So check it out, leave a comment if you have any question, and we'll be very happy to answer them all. And I bet that you guys have already noticed my gorgeous lady sitting next to me, Miss World Vietnam 2007, Ngo Phuong Lan. Hello, Miss Lan.
Hi, thanks so much for having me on your show.
It's our honor to have you on our show. And just a little background information for listeners. So Ms. Lan have a bachelor degree in international relations from University of Geneva in Switzerland. And since her college graduation, Lan has taken on various positions, mostly in the fields of media and education, right? And she has just recently launched a YouTube and Facebook channel called Life and Style by Ngo Phuong Lan, which offers a series of short videos that answer the students' most frequently asked questions about soft skills and business etiquette. Am I right?
Right, that's definitely right.
And so what inspires you to do this project?
Well, I've been working with students and people in the business community for a long time regarding business etiquette, as you've mentioned, soft skills, and also lifestyle experiences and stories. And what I found is that the same recurring questions were given to me again and again, no matter where I went. And I thought that, maybe it would be helpful to try and answer these questions in, the shortest form possible, so that I can somehow reach, the target audience, who are students and young people who are starting their career, starting their first jobs. And so at first it was just like a project for fun. And it still is. It's a lot of fun doing it, because we do everything. We film, we write the script, we edit the videos, and it's a lot of fun. But for each series of video, I get to work with students from a different university, and the culture is very different. The interest and just their concerns are really different, and I think that it's a really wonderful thing. So come check it out.
Of course. I think that because we used to be students, right? So we understand that, at university, no offense, but the academic program is very good, but in terms of soft skills, I mean, students have to figure out themselves, I think. Right. And it's common that they make mistake because they haven't learned about it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's right. So back in the day when you were a student, did you make any kind of mistake that you regret?
So many. I think even now, and I think that people, no matter how much experience they have, they will always be learning things. But I do remember one experience, because I've been really lucky to be able to have internships at a lot of companies and organizations that are really prestigious. And I remember this one time when I was working on this project, and we were going with the VP or vice president of one of the multinational companies, really big one. And we were going somewhere, and he said, "Oh my gosh, how long is it going to take for us to get from point A to point B?"
That's right.
And you know how, like in Vietnam, we like to joke about things. And so he was really anxious. And I said, "Oh, just another 4 hours or so, just like lightheartedly." But then he said, "Really? Are you sure?" And then he became really stressed out.
He believed that.
Yeah, he believed it. so I'm like, no, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry, I'm just kidding. So what turned out, to be something that was really, really like scaring him and making him stressed and nervous was meant by me just as like a lighthearted comment. So I learned from then, to kind of choose the context in which you can joke about things, and also like try to read people's faces and expressions before you try and make a joke.
That's right. Yeah.
So I think that's something that we all learn eventually, and I think that we have to be really sensitive about other people.
Very valuable lesson for students. Yeah, so our listeners, our viewers in live stream would like us to speak louder, okay? So we'll try our best. And so I have seen all of the first 4 videos of your project, and the topics, kind of various, like how to choose proper clothes for interview, whether or not expose your tattoos in the interview, or why not match white socks with black shoes?
And a very common problem.
Also how to hold a glass of wine properly. And I think that they are related to business etiquette. And so is it your main focus, or do you plan to mention more soft skills in your next videos?
I think that, I will mention more soft skills and also lifestyle stories. The questions that we choose in order of like priorities to do videos is actually based on the concerns of the students at that time. And so the first series was basically students who are going to start their first jobs, and they want to know how they can prepare for their first interviews, how they're going to prepare for their first day at work, how they're going to go networking, for example. So we chose to do those videos first. But in the next series, as I'm working with another university that I will be meeting with this afternoon, we're going to be focused more on student life, as well as the things surrounding student life. Some people suggested that they want me to give them dating skills.
Oh, very nice one.
And it's really interesting because there's so much that you can do, and I'd love to share the stories that I have, but also we have experts who work with us in diverse fields, and so to share their ideas and the things that they see often in their career as well.
Yeah. I wish that you had this project back when I was a student.
Maybe I can do it with VOV.
Okay, sure. That is a very nice suggestion. So how regular is the video posted? Like every week or
every week? Yes.
Every week.
Yeah.
Do you have any specific day so that students can look forward to?
We were posting on Wednesdays. But yesterday, because there was a hype over the U23, and so I was really excited about that as well, and I decided to post something else regarding etiquette on how to be a good football fan. But I think today or tomorrow, but every week we try to launch a new video.
So guys, keep your eye on the channel on every Wednesday, right? Yeah, every Wednesday. Yes, I think that it's very good for students now to have a role model like you. You have experienced both Vietnamese and foreign culture, so that you have many things to say to them. So apart from like very important things like you have mentioned, like how to choose proper dress for interview, or how to prepare your resume or cover letter, have you ever thought of the impact of handshaking?
Oh yes, actually we're gonna have a video on the proper handshake next week.
Oh,
so thank you for mentioning it. I will tag you in the video.
Of course. And why is it important that you choose the topic?
It's so important because the handshake is the first impression that you give someone, or the first or second impression. And you've prepared all your clothes, your hair, everything, your contents, and then it's the first physical contact with someone.
That's right.
And so it's extremely important, and the handshake itself has been a gesture that is practiced by a lot of people around the world for over 2,000 years.
Yeah, sure.
So I don't know if there are a lot of history lovers here, but if you can imagine back in when the Greeks and the Romans, they always had weapons, so swords or knives, and they always carried it on their left side so that they could take their right hand and, you know, take their weapon out. So when you shake someone's hand, when they shook their hand, they were exposing their right hand, which is the hand that they would use to grab the weapon. And so when you grab shake someone's hand, it's a gesture of, you know, I come in peace.
That's right.
And, you know, I offer friendship. And I think that up until this day, over 2,000 years later, we're still
meaning, right?
we're still practicing it. So it's very important to master the handshake.
Yeah, but you know, I don't think that many of us have taken proper attention to that, you know, small but very important technique, right? So I believe that you have many things to share with us about this gesture, and we'll be right back. All right. So break time because we are playing music.
Hết 12 giờ ở đâu nhỉ?
Okay.
I think in the meantime that we can share
share live streaming.
The live stream.
Oh, we have questions.
We have questions. Yes, but first let us share
try to answer your questions soon.
Let us share the live stream video so that many people, other people, can see.
Okay.
Right, post. I will tag you. Okay. Done.
Okay.
Okay, post it.
So let's see what the questions we have are.
Yeah.
Did you dream? Okay, Amir Jamil, did you dream of Miss World? No, actually, I never. Amir, I never thought that I would be Miss Vietnam World. I was never a beauty pageant sort of person, and I think that I was just very lucky because I signed up for an event that I thought would be fun and I could make friends. And in the end, I made a lot of friends, but I also opened a career for myself. And so I encourage everyone to take risks, take chances in your life, because you never know what it's going to bring to you. And I've gotten a lot from it. Okay.
You won the prize when you were still a student, right?
Yeah, I won the prize when I was 20, so I was in my last year of university. And because I was studying in Switzerland, I had to come back to Vietnam for the pageant, and then after that I went back to Switzerland for another year to finish my university.
Yeah. One of your cousins were in the same high school with me.
Oh.
And at that time, he boasted about you too.
Really?
Yeah, I remember that I heard from many other students that someone's cousin is participating in that contest, and with a very nice number. Yeah, you got a very nice number.
I was really,
right?
I was really lucky because I wasn't the first few people who arrived, and the people from Vietnam, they had numbers from like 1 to 100 or something, and then contestants from, you know, other countries in the world, they had like 222, 333, 444, and then when it was my turn, I got 888.
Yeah, so very nice one.
Yeah, very nice number.
In terms of, you know, feng shui.
Yeah, so I had good feng shui.
Yeah, and that's what made me, you know, remember you from
my
that
number,
day.
right?
Yeah, and from that day, because you have a relation with a student in my high school, and very nice number, and you did very well. I really like your answer.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, it was a lot of fun.
How many seconds we have? 40 seconds.
We have 40 seconds. That's good. Yeah,
I already tagged you. Have you accepted?
Yeah, I accepted.
Okay.
So now it's on my timeline, and we are looking at more questions that people have for us.
Do we have any more?
Okay, we will continue answering questions later.
Yes, of course.
We have 20 seconds left, so it's so stressful doing a live show.
Really?
Yeah.
You've done this a million times.
Yeah, I have, but I mean, just like, you know, on VOV or VTV, because I'm used to pre-recording.
Ah, okay, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, 4, 3. Welcome back to Happy Me with Thanh Hà and Miss World Vietnam 2007 Ngô Phương Lan. So we'll get back to the story of shaking hands. So people often shake hands when they meet, but I don't think that is appropriate in all circumstances.
Right, definitely. It's not appropriate in all circumstances, and even the handshake itself is different from one country. It varies from one country to another. In certain countries, you have a lot of European countries like France, where they kiss on the cheeks, for example.
Yes.
Or in Japan or in Korea, they bow. Or in Thailand, they do them. They
Yes.
put their hands together.
Yeah.
But in countries, I think it's general global etiquette to shake hands because it's in the business community, and so you do business no matter where you go, and so the handshake is the appropriate gesture
For business.
for politics.
Yeah, and most commonly is for people who meet for the first time, right?
Yeah, usually for people who meet for the first time, to congratulate someone, to offer someone, peace. Like, for example, we're talking about football. At the beginning of the matches, the football players from each of the teams would be shaking each other's hands. Just say, hi, I come in peace.
Yes. Okay.
But in certain countries, for example, in general speaking, when a man shakes hands with a woman, they have to wait for the woman to raise their hand, to hold out their hand first, and then they grab it. But in certain cultures, you're not allowed to touch women,
That's
and
right.
so they have different gestures, to replace the handshake.
Yeah. So if like two people meet each other, then for example, in some countries, like you said, the women reach out first, right? What about the other
circumstances?
Yes.
Well, usually you would leave the person with the higher authority the
Yes.
choice of reaching out first, or the person who's older. Higher authority in terms of social ranking, in terms of, for example, if it's your boss you're meeting for the first time, it would be the boss who holds out his hand first.
Yeah.
Or the person who's older, like if you're meeting your in-laws, your father-in-law, your mother-in-law for their first time, then you have to wait for them to hold out their hand first.
Okay. Is that the same in a group of people?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But sometimes it's really complicated, so I think with regards to etiquette, it's about understanding your environment and understanding your context. So if you have like 10 people and you have to say, okay, please line up from social ranking, who's the highest to the lowest, and that's not possible.
That's right.
You would have to grab the person who is closest to you, or the person who is speaking to you first, because you're not going to be there all by yourself. You're going to be with another group of people.
That's right. What about the pose? When you...
The pose, well, so the first thing to understand is that you have to stand up.
Yes.
So if a person comes and then you're sitting down like this, then you have to stand up, because you have to show respect to the other person. You have to look at them in the eyes when you're shaking their hand, and you hold out your hand, firmly towards them. You can lean in a little bit. Don't pull back and expect them to reach out for
Yes.
you. You have to go halfway.
Halfway.
Yeah,
Yes.
and when you shake their hand, you have to make sure that your hands are not sweaty.
That's what I'm about to ask. Yeah. What
You
about the
get that a lot.
sweaty-handed
You get
people?
that a lot.
What should they do?
Well, they should wipe their hands first.
Of course.
And sometimes, maybe you have powder or something. You can powder your hands first. But that's something that you really have to watch out for, especially in the summer when it gets really hot here. But it's you just have to imagine the other person, like, having to hold somebody's sweaty hand. It's very uncomfortable for them. And so you have to, be mindful of that, as well as, your breath and the general odor. But I think that, because you want to make a good impression.
That's right.
And you want to be someone who is taken seriously by other people. And so you have to prepare yourself. If you've prepared yourself physically already, you have to, go take the next step and take people's hand, firmly, not too hard, not too limp, and don't shake it too much or too long.
And the motion should only be, like up and down. That's all.
Up and
Like, not
down.
like holding and
Yeah,
right?
not tugging. But we have a lot of examples. Like, we have President Trump, who does the hand pull. He pulls you
Wow.
towards his personal space.
Because he's Trump. I think.
I'm not going to comment on that. But, I mean, there are different ways you can read people's posture. And I think that, for the first time when you're meeting someone, try to be as appropriate as possible.
What about the duration of a handshake? Like, should it be
right? I would
like
say
5 seconds, or
I would say around 3 seconds, from 2 to 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but if it depends on the culture as well, because sometimes in Vietnam people like to hold your hand for a long time, and yes, you can pull it away, but then they would think that it's really rude. So you have to really again consider where you are, and if it's appropriate, then if someone else of a higher authority is holding your hand and shaking it for a really long time, then if you can't pull your hand away, then you have to go along with it.
Yeah, just go with the flow.
Yeah,
right?
Go with the flow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm quite curious about this, but what should we do with the other hand?
Oh, with the other hand. Well, you should never leave it in your pocket. Because if you remember from the historical story of the Romans and the Greeks, if you hide your hand, that means that you have a different intention. Maybe your other hand is on your weapon.
Oh.
So I mean, if we translate it to our time right now, then no, your other hand should be exposed. Sometimes, if you really know the person, if you're really looking forward to meeting the person, then you can pat them on the arm. But generally, you can leave your arm hanging by your side, and it's it's a very quick movement, so you don't have to feel like oh, what should I do with my other hand?
That's right.
It's fine. Yeah, just leave your palm open. Don't ball it up in a fist or anything. Just leave it open at your side.
Yeah, but sometimes we don't pay attention to the other hand, and I mean we don't even realize what it is doing. So
right.
Yeah, so it's maybe right to be cautious on that, right?
Yeah, well, they say devil is in the details, and so sometimes the smallest details make people change their perception of you.
Yes.
If they pay attention, and there are people who pay attention to the smallest of the details. And if you can prepare yourself for that, then you can prepare yourself for success.
And what if you make a mistake?
If you make a mistake, then it's not the end of the world.
Shaking hands. Mm-hmm.
It's not the end of the world. I mean, the first impression is very, very important. It's very difficult to change that impression once you've made it already. But, if you've kind of gotten nervous, you met somebody who you really love, who you really idolize, then don't worry too much. Just try and
make another impression, right?
Yeah, because as long as you're sincere and as long as you have good intentions, then I think that you will always be able to redeem yourself in one way or another.
Sure. I think that I noticed that in Vietnam, I mean, especially in the northern part of Vietnam, people, especially men, tend to shake hands a lot after every round of bottoms up at the dining table. And I think that our foreign friends may not have understood that gesture. And do you know what I mean?
Well, I think that they're just being friendly, because I've noticed with a lot of Vietnamese people that the proximity and the physical, the body language, being close to somebody physically is a sign of friendliness. And I think they're just trying to be friendly. The same thing as when they kink their glasses, they have to maybe go bottoms up, and then people do that. I think that you don't have to get nervous and just go with the flow, like you said before.
Yeah, so our foreigners, when you see that people offer to shake your hands a lot, you're just don't panic, because they're just being friendly, and they just want to show the appreciation of them to you. So shaking hands is nothing to be afraid of, right? But as long as you pay a little attention to it. Have you noticed any unique style of shaking hands in Vietnam?
Oh yeah, so many. Like if you say drinking culture in Vietnam, then you go shake hands, and then people hug you, or people try and kiss you. There are a lot of different ways, and I think that it's fun to see, because for example, if people like to be close to you, that means that in their culture, being physically close to someone is a sign of good faith, of friendship, of peace. And so I think it's really interesting to see that, because I went to university in Switzerland, and in Switzerland and in Germany and in those countries, In Europe, people keep their distance and they respect other people's private spheres.
Yeah.
And I think in Vietnam there's less of that, and you see that mostly, you know, on the roads where you see people are just so close to each other. But I think that, you know, it's every place has its own culture, and we just need to be mindful that we're not doing something that's disrespectful to the people who are, you know, around us, especially when they're trying to show us their friendship.
Mm-hmm. And as you mentioned before, so shaking hands will be your next video's topic, which is next Wednesday, right?
Yeah, next Wednesday.
So yeah, so keep an eye on it if you want to have more information about this topic. Do we have any more questions in the live stream?
I think we're good for now.
Yeah, okay. So thank you very much, Ms. Lan, for joining our show today. How did it feel? Like you said before, it's stressful. Is it still stressful now?
No, I mean, like, it's stressful in terms of preparation because I'm so used to pre-recorded shows. But it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And when you are talking and when you're, you know, doing your recording, that you don't even notice that the time is passing.
Yes.
It's been really fun. Thank you.
Would you like to come back again?
Sure. It would be my pleasure.
Yeah, so so thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see each other again very soon. And guys, we'll be right back because Thanh Hai and Phuong Khanh will still have a very inspirational story in Love is Bright. So stay tuned.
Bye.